Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Today is the Day of Atonement, and this lesson is entitled Day of Atonement 2024. Once again, this lesson is entitled Day of Atonement 2024. Now, in the seventh month, we were commanded to keep the holy days of the Most High, his holy days and his feast days during the seventh month. The beginning of months unto us is the month of Abib, what is commonly referred to as the month of April. So if you count from April to seven months, you get the month of October. Keeping in mind that the beginning of months unto the children of Israel is the month of Abib, which translates to April. The Most High had never told the children of Israel that the beginning of months, i.e. the beginning of the year, began in January in the cold of winter. The changing of the beginning of months and the changing of the names of the months and the changing of the days of the year was instituted by the Roman Catholic Church, along with the changing of the Sabbath day. They're telling you that it is Sunday. You can go through many records of the heathen himself, and the Roman Catholic Church will let you know that they have changed the Most High Sabbath to what they call nowadays Sundays. And the Sabbath day is what you would refer to be Saturday. And if you have any contention with that, that's fine. I'm not here to argue with you over that. All right. Once again, this lesson is entitled Day of Atonement 2024. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Brace yourselves, tighten up your jaws. Do not turn to the left or to the right, or you will get hit in the mouth. We're to walk the straight and narrow way of the Most High's commandments. We're not to deviate to the right hand and or to the left hand. We are to walk the straight and narrow way. Now, today is, quote unquote, October the 10th. Is the 10th day of the seventh month, and this is the Day of Atonement. I'm going to speak to you in regular English for the first part. That way you understand clearly what is transpiring, and then we will go into the scrolls to validate all that I have said in plain English. The Day of Atonement, what is it? When you atone, it's pretty much you're asking for forgiveness for the wrong and the violence that you have done unto the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. The Day of Atonement, it is a Sabbath day of rest. On the Sabbath day, every man is to remain within his dwelling place. Let me repeat that one more time. On the Sabbath day, every man is to remain within his dwelling. In the days of old, we had our respective lands. The 12 tribes had their respective living areas. That meant that within that whole entire living area, everyone was supposed to remain within that city. And now a microcosm of that is not only were you to remain within your city, you were to remain within your dwelling places. If anyone owns a home or don't, whether you rent or you have purchased your home, etc., where you live is your dwelling place. So when you're here to remain within your dwelling, that means you're to remain within your houses. Simple as that. If you're out in the midst of the city, you may be within the dwelling of the city, but you're not within your dwelling place as far as your resting place, your residence. So on the Sabbath day, if you are keeping it correctly, you're not to work, first of all. You're not to light any fires, no cooking or anything of the sort on the Sabbath day. Your food is to be prepared prior to. And you are to remain in your dwelling at rest on the Sabbath day. All of which I have just said, I will verify when we go into the scrolls. The day begins when it's dark. From even to even or evening to evening. When the very last bit of light is out of the sky, then ends the old day and begins the new day. We'll validate that when we read later on. So we understand clearly that the Most High makes it plain that we are to remain within our dwelling places in the Sabbath, on the Sabbath day. Now, back to the Day of Atonement in English, in regular English language before we hit the scrolls. The sons of Levi, a man called Aaron, who is a Levite. Aaron is the brother of Moses. Aaron and his sons, the Most High made a perpetual covenant with Aaron and his seed, that is his sons after him, that those men will always hold the priesthood forever. There is no man of another family, whether it be within the house of Israel or of the heathen or of any of the other nations, that can ever hold the post of the Most High's ministers. The ministers of the Most High are the sons of Aaron, who are Levites. The purpose of the Levitical priest is to be the go-between between the children of Israel and Yah himself. We cannot just run up to the Most High on our own accord. The mediator, the man that does he is in the middle, the arbitrator, if you will. He is in the middle. That is the sons of Levi. So if we were to commit a grave sin, what we would do, if it didn't require us being put to death, we would take our offerings to the priest. The priest then takes that offering and puts it on the altar and does all that's necessary. And this is how our sins become cleansed, by way of the Levitical priest. This is why we were instructed that we should never ever forsake the Levite that's within our gates, because this man is the go-between between the children of Israel and the Most High. Not JC. JC is not a go-between for nothing. The Most High made this covenant strictly with these sons, not the daughters, with these sons of Aaron, that they will hold that priesthood forever, as he made a covenant with the sons of David, that David's seed, his sons after him, will hold the post of governorship in the house of Israel forever. And that's not changing for anyone. Don't care what the heathen says. Don't care what the Roman says. Don't care what the European says. The Most High has never known any of these other families of the earth. He has only known and has punished the children of Israel. All the priests are of the house of Israel via the family of Aaron, of Levi, and all of our governors are of the house of Judah, specifically of the sons of David. So on the Day of Atonement, what happens is the Levite, the priest, he makes an atonement for himself, for the sins that he hath committed. For there is no man that's alive that sinneth not. So the priest will make an atonement for his sins. He will then make an atonement for the sins of his house. He will then make an atonement for the sins of all the families of the house of Israel. Let me say that one more time. Not all the families of the entire earth. He will make an atonement for all the congregation of Israel, the family of Israel, the sons and daughters of the living God of Israel. So the purpose of this man, the Levitical priest, he is the go-between between the congregation and the Most High. Period. You want your sins forgiven, you have to take your offerings up to the priest. The priest then presents all of this stuff at the temple, and this is how you become healed or cleansed. So once again, the priest will make an atonement for his sins, make an atonement for the sins of his house, make an atonement for the whole entire congregation of the children of Israel. He will also make an atonement for the holy place and for the altars, that they may be cleansed as well, for all the wickedness of the children of Israel, not of everybody. So if you understand clearly that these curses fall upon you and your family are of the house of Israel, then you're to follow the God of Israel and his instruction and what he has instructed the children of Israel. If you are not of the children of Israel and you have been told something else and you want to walk after something else, be my guest. This message is specifically to the children of Israel and specifically to the stranger that is of a contrite spirit. Those of you who are not of the house of Israel, but you're looking around and you're beginning to understand that you have inherited lies and thus you are turning or have already turned to the God of Israel and his instruction. And therefore you will take a hold of the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, and precepts, and thus take a hold of the Son, one of the men of the house of Israel, and walk after the ways of the children of Israel. So once again, the Levitical priest will atone for his house, for himself, for the children of Israel, for the cleansing of the altars in the holy place. Now, this is to be done once every year, and it is a perpetual covenant forever. We know clearly Malachi 3 verse 6, the Most High told the children of Israel. He didn't tell everybody. He's never spoken to everyone. Everyone has not heard his voice, and he has not made a covenant with everyone. He only knows and have made a covenant with the children of Israel. So in Malachi 3:6, we were instructed via warned by the Most High that he changes not. So therefore, when he tells us that this is a perpetual covenant between him and the children of Israel, the Sabbaths are, and so are his feast days and his holy days, and that his ministers are the Levitical house, the sons of Aaron, and that they will hold that post forever, and that the Day of Atonement is to be observed forever. We will have to observe this whether we're in the land or not. We can't sacrifice any animals because we do not have a temple, and we're unaware of who our Levites are. But we have been brought to remembrance, so therefore we are to acknowledge these days in our captivity. Now, what does the Day of Atonement do to those of you who are scattered to the four corners of the earth and are now returning back onto the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts? The Most High and his word, as we return and we are brought back to remembrance as we go into the book of remembrance, when we read today about the Day of Atonement, it takes JC, balls him up, and throws him in the trash can. The Day of Atonement reminds us of the lies that was taught to us by the heathen. Once again, don't allow anyone that don't know God to tell you anything about God. Don't let anyone try to teach you God when you look at their ways and their ways are ungodly. Once again, the Most High has never known these people that's trying to teach us about God. God states he only knows Israel. So there's no other family of the earth that can come and teach you and tell you anything about God when God has made it plain that he does not know them, he has not judged them, and he has not dealt with them in that fashion. Now we will begin the lesson right there. Psalms chapter 147. You have these people plagued with leprosy that has murdered, slaughtered, enslaved you, spit in your face, making laws against you, take you into the courthouse. You can find no justice in the midst of them, for they are unrighteous, unjust, and have never known the Most High. Not only that, he don't know them. Psalms chapter 147, we will read verse 19 and verse 20. And verse 19 reads, he showeth his word unto Jacob. Who is Jacob? A man called Israel. His name was switched from Jacob to Israel. Same man, it's synonymous. His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Israel the people, Israel the family, Israel the nation, everyone related by blood. Verse 20, he hath not dealt so with any nation. He has not dealt so with the European or any other family of peoples on the earth. He does not know them. No, he doesn't know them at all. As for his judgments, meaning his punishments, they have not known them. Have you ever wondered, O man of Israel? Have you ever wondered, O woman of Israel? How come you're trying to do the best you can with a little that you have, and you're trying to do what you deem to be right, and you're seeing the wicked prosper? You know this person is cheating. You know they're lying. You know they're stealing. You know all that these people around you have done. They have the biggest houses. They have the fanciest cars and the biggest bank accounts. And everything seems to be going so well for the wicked in your sight. And you are disturbed by it. Some of you so much so, you have decided to trade in your little bit of righteousness to grab a hold of a whole lot of wickedness. And it never works for you. You're wondering to yourself, how come this man is prospering with all the wickedness that he's doing? You're not doing a fraction of the wickedness he's doing, and every time you turn, you're getting busted in your head. This is why. Because the Most High is going to punish you, because he has given you his instructions. He has made a covenant with you. He has not made a covenant with a heathen. So until he judges the heathen is going to appear as though they're balling. They're going to appear as though as where their wickedness is the thing to do. Because in your sight and in his sight as well, it is prospering. Unbeknownst to him, that the end of the wicked man is his own destruction. So do not be enticed by the wicked. You're at your job, you're running these accounts. Your bonuses is not as big as the three heathen that you know that's sitting in your cubicle. They're telling you how they're cooking the books and so forth and cheating. And they're showing you their bonus checks. It's 10 times the bonus check you got. But you're doing your numbers correctly. You're trying to do that which is right. And your checks are not as big as their checks. You're not getting the accolades that they're getting within the company. Don't be the fool by which you're enticed through covetousness, wanting to get the big checks that they've got, and you trade in your little bit of righteousness for some wickedness, because you're going to get busted in your head swiftly. They're getting away with this because the Most High has not judged them yet. But he will judge you at every turn because you are his. Let's use this example. If there's a bunch of teenagers tearing up the place down at the community pool, and somehow this word spreads through the neighborhood, and your dad got a wind of this, that there's some young men, teenagers down at the community pool tearing the place up. When your father comes down there, he's not snatching up everyone at the pool. He's going to snatch you up. Why? Because you are his. He gave you the rules of his house that you're not to be out and about doing anything to cause shame to come onto his name and into his house. And that you are to conduct yourself in a certain manner when you're outside of his house and within his house. So when that word comes down to him that there's some teenagers down at the pool tearing the whole place up and acting uncivilized, when he comes down there, he's not busting everybody's heads. He's coming specifically to bust yours because you are his. It is the same analogy when we're dealing with the children of Israel. When the wickedness is being done, the Most High is looking for the man of Israel. He's looking to bust his head. Why? Because we are the ones that were given his rules and regulations, his guidelines, i.e. his laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. The heathen down there tearing it up with us too. But we're wondering why are we getting put in cuffs and the heathen being let go? Well, you're spoken for. I've told you in the last video, we are people spoken for. What they eat, we can't eat. Makes us sick. What they do, we can't do. We get punished. And we are to understand that. And the Most High will make himself known unto his people when he begins to judge the heathen. And that's exactly where we are. So we understand clearly that we are not as these people. We're not to listen to anything that they say. We are totally different from them. They are liars. They are thieves. They're full of covetousness. Their ways are insatiable as far as their greed and their lust for murder and violence. And the Most High hates a violent man. Don't like him. But violence is what the heathen knows. Now, let's validate things pertaining to the Most High's Sabbath day. Let's get straight to that. Let's turn now to Exodus chapter 16. Exodus chapter 16. And we will validate that you are to remain within your dwelling on the Sabbath day in case you've been keeping the Sabbath running around I know a couple of fellas, hey man, we're going to keep the Sabbath. We go down to XYZ in Atlanta to keep the Sabbath with some other Israelites down there. You can't travel. Everything is supposed to be at rest. Your vehicle's supposed to be at rest. You're supposed to be at rest. You're not to buy and sell anything on the Sabbath. Somehow you're going to have to stop and pay for gas. You might get hungry, want to go buy some food. We're not to do any of these types of exchanges during the Sabbath day. You're to be at home and to be at rest on the Sabbath day. Once again, Exodus chapter 16, and we'll read verse 29. And verse 29 reads, See, for Yah hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. That should be clear to everyone. Verse 30 reads, So the people, or the family, or the congregation, or the nation rested on the 7th day. Now, let's go ahead and let's move over to Exodus 23. We'll be reading all of that here shortly. Exodus 23 and verse 3 reads, Leviticus, let's go to Leviticus 23. Leviticus 23, not Exodus. Leviticus 23 and verse 3 reads, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yah in all your dwellings. The mean in all of your city, because you dwell within the city. And when you take a microcosm of your city, that would be your house, which means your streets should be slam empty every Sabbath day, because every man should be at his home resting on the Sabbath day. It is a day of rest in all of your dwellings. Not some of them, but all of your dwellings. Now, we can move back to Exodus. We'll go to Exodus chapter 34. Exodus chapter 34, and we'll read verse 21. Exodus chapter 34, verse 21 reads, 6 days thou shalt work, but on the 7th day thou shalt rest. In airing time and in harvest thou shalt rest. So we are to rest on the Sabbath day. Verse 15 of the very same chapter. Verse 15, Exodus. Let's go to, not the same chapter. Let's move over to chapter 31. Exodus chapter 31. Exodus chapter 31, verse 15. Exodus chapter 31, verse 15 reads, 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th it is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yah. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Verse 16 reads, Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generation for a perpetual covenant. Verse 17 reads, It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever, not a sign between you and the lepers, not a sign between you and the nations. It's a sign specifically between the Most High and one specific bloodline of people, not everyone. Once again, verse 17 reads, It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever, not everyone. For in 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him, upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of Yah. So we understand clearly that this Sabbath day is a perpetual covenant that the Most High made with a very specific people in a very specific place. Mount Sinai, Horeb, Northeast Africa, where it's hot. And the Most High is not going to make a pale man and put him in a place that he cannot stand the heat. So when you think of this geographical location where the Most High placed his people, and as hot as it is, you should already know in your brain what type of people would be living in that heat, in that hot environment. The Most High, like I've said last time in the last few videos, he made a polar bear to withstand that cold. You understand? He made the European to withstand that cold. I have been to Bridgeport. I've been to the tip of the Arctic Circle to do what we call Marine Corps cold weather training. All the Israelites, we could not function in that environment. We were frostbit. It took me roughly 6 months after I returned from cold weather training to feel my fingertips and my toes. And I'm not the only one. Any black Marine that's ever been to cold weather training will attest to that. We don't function well in those environments. Neither does the heathen function well in the heat where we belong. In the hot climates, we are built for that. All right. Now let's go ahead and get to what we are here for. We are here to establish that the Day of Atonement is where the Levitical priest makes an atonement for the whole entire house of Israel, and that no JC ever died for you. There is no such thing as you having someone baptize you, for a Levitical priest, a man of Levi, has never, ever baptized another Israelite. It's never happened. This is why we have Levitical priests. And this is why the Day of Atonement is a perpetual covenant forever. It's not a one-off. It's not a one and done. It is forever. And you should be afflicting your souls. Right now, my last meal was before the sun went down yesterday evening. My final meal before I began my fast, or before I afflicted my soul, which is a fast, a dry fast, no food, no water. So I had my final meal yesterday evening, and right now, in case my voice begins to lose its effectiveness, you would know why I have not taken in anything, food or drink. And it will be so until dark, until the Sabbath is over. All right. Let's begin Day of Atonement, and we will be reading Leviticus chapter 16. Verse 1 reads, "And Yah spake unto Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered before Yah and died. These men made strange fire. They did some things offering up before the Most High, and it wasn't according to the Levitical order. And if you make that error, Most High will remove you off this earth." Verse 2. And Yah said unto Moses, "Speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place, within the veil before the mercy seat which is upon the ark, that he die not, for I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat." So what he's telling Moses, tell Aaron that he just can't come up in here any old kind of way whenever he feels like it, dressed however he feels like it, and whenever he feels like coming up in here. Because if he does that, he's gonna die. So before he comes into this place, he's got to be dressed a certain way. He just can't come up in here unannounced. Verse 3. "Thus shall Aaron come into the holy place with a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering." He can't come up in this place empty-handed. Verse 4. "He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and he shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with the linen mitre shall he be attired. These are the holy garments. Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and shall put them on." When he comes into this holy place, he can't come in here with his street clothes. He's got to come here with the proper animals. He's got to come here. He's got to wash himself. He's got to put on the holy attire. And after he's done all of these things, then he can move forward. He can't come in here with his regular clothes. And when you read these stipulations, nowhere in the world does your pastor even know what these are. Verse 5. "And he shall take of the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering." Verse 6. "And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. I spoke this to you earlier. I mentioned it earlier, made mention of it in regular English. Now we're in the Holy Scrolls, validating what I have said before I began to read Leviticus chapter 16. So Aaron will come in to the holy place. He's going to make an offering, a sin offering, which is for himself, for all the sins that he has committed the previous year, and to make an atonement for himself and for his house, his entire family. Verse 7, and he shall take the 2 goats and present them before Yah at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, one lot for Yah and the other for the scapegoat. All right, you've heard the game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and you've heard certainly of, hey man, I don't want to be the scapegoat. You're trying to make me the scapegoat. When you hear of this, you should think directly of the Day of Atonement, because this is where they got that from. So Aaron will have 2 goats before Yah. He's going to have his hands on the goat. He's going to play a game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo with him. All right, and whichever lot fall upon the Most High, okay, that goat is going to be the one that's going to be sacrificed. The other goat that the lot did not fall upon, he's going to take all the sins of the children of Israel. He's going to put it on that goat. And that's the goat that's going to be let go. So to be the scapegoat means a few things. If you're the scapegoat, you're carrying the sins of everyone. That's what's happening to the scapegoat. But the scapegoat also is the goat that doesn't get killed. He gets released into the wilderness, but he's carrying the sins of the children of Israel upon his head. Not the sins of everybody, the sins of the children of Israel. So that's the scapegoat. Once the game of back and forth has been played and the lot fell upon the one goat for the Most High, that's the goat that's going to be sacrificed. The other goat that the lot did not fall upon that goat, all the sins of the children of Israel will be placed upon that goat, and that goat will be taken into the wilderness in a place where no one lives, and a fit man of the house of Israel will let that goat go, that he may be free. But he's not free. He's carrying the sins of the children of Israel. He's an unclean goat. And this is why the fit man that took him and released him into the wilderness, he's got to take a shower and cleanse himself after he's done, because he's dealing with something that's unclean. That animal's unclean. It's carrying on his head the weight, the sins of the children of Israel. All right. So let me reread verse 8. And Aaron shall cast lots upon 2 goats, one for Yah and the other for the scapegoat. The scapegoat once again gets all the sins of the children of Israel placed upon his head. The one that lands for Yah, he is the one that sacrificed. Verse 9. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which Yah's lot fell and offer him for a sacrifice. Verse 10. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yah, to make an atonement with him, and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. Now we've just read in the Holy Scrolls what I've mentioned to you in English. Verse 11. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. So the man who is the son of Aaron at the time, or at this time it would be Aaron, and in the latter years it became his sons, and when we return back into the land, it will still be his sons doing this. So Aaron, though he is the high priest, there is no man that sins not. So he had to make an atonement for himself and for his house. No JC needed, no baptism nowhere in sight. You will never read that. Verse 12. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of the fire from off the altar before Yah, and his hands full of sweet incense, beaten small, and bring it within the veil. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before Yah, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. So he has to do certain things. There's a protocol. There's a standard by which things ought to be done as it pertains to this. And you do it out of line, you die. Verse 14. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his fingers upon the mercy seat eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his fingers 7 times. Verse 15, then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat before the mercy seat. Verse 16, and he shall make an atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, because of their transgressions in all their sins. And so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness. So once again, he's got to make an atonement for himself, make an atonement for his house, make an atonement for the holy place. And he's also going to do that for the altar as well. Verse 17. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of congregation when he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy place. Any man that's in there will be dead, because you're not supposed to be in there, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Israel. So let me tell you what the heathen, he and them and they that know not Yah, have lied and told the children of Israel. JC died for you. Therefore, there is no law. His blood washed away all your sins. They're trying to make JC take the place of the sacrificial animal, and they're trying to make JC take the place of the Levitical priest, the sons of Aaron. It cannot be done. The Most High made it plain that his word shall stand and none else. He made it plain to us that we are not to add or to subtract from his word. We just read here clearly that the Levitical priest, the high priest, makes an atonement for us. Period. Since the Most High changes not, this don't change. The Most High made it plain that we were not to add or to subtract from his word. When they start telling you JC died for you, that's an addition. You have people trying to tell you about God that God simply said he don't know. You understand? This is why their ways are ungodly. For those of you who are awake, for those of you who are walking within the confines of the Most High's law, you're being afforded his protection. You have the light of the law before you. You can see the traps and snares. You can go into this book and you can decipher and see where the lies are by the heathen. Therefore, you're not amused by their folly and their foolishness. So we understand clearly. Let's reread verse 17 for effect. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation when he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy place, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Israel. Did not say everybody. No Christians in here, no Mormons in here, no Seventh-day Adventists, no Southern Baptists, none of that. It's garbage. Verse 18, and he shall go unto the altar that is before Yah and make an atonement for it, and shall take of the blood of the bullock and of the blood of the goat and put it upon the horns of the altar round about. So he's also going to make an atonement for this altar. Most High has how many altars? You remember? 2. 1, the altar of burnt incense, and the other one will be the altar of burnt offering, where the fat of the animal is placed upon the altar. O man of Israel, some of you are full of the fat back. You're eating your food, you eat the fat with it. The Most High has made it plain to the children of Israel that this is a no-no. You should not cook with fat. You should not eat any manner of fat. When I cook, I cut off every bit of fat I can find before I cook it. And if you just so happen to be eating some meat and some fats in it in your mouth, you don't chew and don't swallow, just spit it out. We're not to eat any manner of fat. Why? Because the fat is what's burnt on the altar. Next, if you look at the heathen, I've made videos before when I spoke specifically about fat and blood and that we're not to eat it. If you pull up on YouTube, you'll see where the heathen love what they call a cannibal sandwich. It is nothing but grounded up chuck, grounded up chuck, which is known as ground beef, slapped between two slices of bread. You didn't hear me mention the word cooked, did you? Because it's not cooked. They put some onions, sprinkle some black pepper on there, and there you have it, a cannibal sandwich. Absolutely disgusting. Now, not too long ago, I want to say this may have been last year, maybe the year prior, in the cafeteria of the place where I work, they actually had to put up a sign stating that we have to cook your food all the way. I'm paraphrasing what they said. Why? Because the heathen would go up there and ask for their burger to be done. Just brown it on one side, brown it on the other side, and there you go. It's raw in the middle. And we know when we eat like this, it makes us sick. So they had to actually put up this sign, and I knew why they put it up. It was directed to the heathen. When I read it, I know this doesn't pertain to me or my people. Knew it right away, because we're going to cook our food from top to bottom. And of course, you always have that weird Israelite that's going to try to eat and do the things that the heathen does. And he has no idea why they do it and get away, and he does it and get his head busted. He tries to eat that half raw hamburger and wonder why he gets E. coli and whatever else that comes with that and finds himself in the emergency room. You can't do what they do. Period. The covenant the Most High have with you, he doesn't have with them. All right, we're at verse 19. And he shall sprinkle of the blood upon it with his fingers 7 times and cleanse it and hollow it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. So, to recap before we read verse 20, the sons of Aaron, the Levitical priest, making atonement for himself, making atonement for his house, making atonement for the children of Israel, making atonement for the holy place, and making atonement for the altar. We've discussed all of this in regular English. We're just not going through the scrolls to validate what has been said, that the Most High's truth may come forth, and that the people of the earth, especially the children of Israel, will no longer be fooled because they have been blind. Their knowledge has been removed from them. They've been dummies in the earth. We're no longer so. The Most High has restored our ability to reason. He has restored our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Verse 20. And when he hath made an end of reconciling the holy place and the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, he shall bring the live goat. And Aaron shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat and confess over him all the iniquities, that's the sins, of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions in all their sins, putting them upon the head of the goat, and shall send him away by the hand of a fit man into the wilderness. So once again, this is the scapegoat. The scapegoat, Aaron will take all the sins of the children of Israel and put it on that scapegoat. That scapegoat will then be taken by a fit man of Israel, taken into the wilderness and released. Verse 20. He is released with all the iniquities of the children of Israel upon his head. This is where you get this, hey man, don't make me the scapegoat. This is where that scapegoat part come from if you've never heard it. I'm not going to take the blame, man. Don't put your blames on me. Don't put your sins on me. Don't make me pay for that. This is where the scapegoat concept comes from. It's all biblical. All right. Verse 23. And Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of the congregation and shall put on his linen and shall put off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. Your pastor come with his suit that you bought and his gaiters that you bought and in his Benz that you paid for. He comes in there with the same clothes, leaves with the same clothes. Some of you so silly in these idol houses, you going up in there talking about you went before the altar. Do you know, O man of Israel, that's been in this ignorance and this falsehood called Christianity, if you approach the Most High's altar, you will be a dead man. That is strictly reserved for the priest. But you're so silly, you don't know that. You go in this church thinking you're in the house of God. You're so silly, you don't know that you can't go into that place. We have courts that are outdoors. That's where we will be. The only people that's entering into this holy place and entering into those spaces are Levites. or the priest. You cannot go in there. But here you are thinking that you're in God's house in these churches. You can find one everywhere. The Most High made it plain where his house is and where he laid his name. And it's not in that place that you call a church. I don't care where on the earth you've got them. These are houses, eminent high places unto devils. Those who know not Yah, you are serving a graven image. You're going to throw these things to the bats. You're going to take these statues, you're going to chuck them. It's coming. All right. So we understand clearly when Aaron comes to the holy place, whatever it is he was wearing prior to, he has to take them off. He has to cleanse his whole person, shower in there. Then he put on the holy garments. Then he goes and takes care of all the sacrifices that he needs to do. And when he's done with all of that, he takes off all of those holy clothes, the holy garments, and he leaves them in the holy place. Now he puts on his regular attire. Now he comes out and deals with the people. Now that's plain English. There's no way in the world you didn't understand that. Verse 24. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place and put on his garments and come forth and offer his burnt offerings and the burnt offerings of the people and make an atonement for himself and for the people. So we understand clearly this man has to be clean every time he's doing these things, taking showers to go in, taking showers to come out. I mean, you're reading all of this. Verse 25. And the fat of the sin offering shall be burnt upon the altar. Once again, I've told you, the Most High has two altars. Altars, burnt incense is one where the Levitical priest will burn the incense that's beaten small. And then there's also an altar for the burnt offering where the fat is burnt. This is why you're not to eat any manner of fat. Eating this fat back in your greens and all this other nastiness, you're not to do these things. These behaviors are anti-Yah. You're to cut them out. So you're not to eat any manner of fat, and you're not to eat any manner of blood. These are clear and strict commandments given to the children of Israel. If you're the heathen and you like eating your half raw steak, have at it. If you like eating your fat, some people you see when they cook, they want to insert fat in there, grind the fat up in the meat. The fat, we as the house of Israel, we're instructed not to eat it because this is what's burnt on the altar of burnt offerings. So you understand why you're not to eat any half raw food, and now you understand why you're not to eat any fat. That should be explicitly clear. Now, first, let me read 25 for effect so you understand that you can't have no fat back in your greens or anything like that, and you're not to be cooking with fat, and you're not to be eating any manner of fat. Verse 25, and the fat of the sin offering shall he burn upon the altar. So we burn the fat of the animal. We're not to ever eat it. We're never to eat any blood in any animal. For the blood is the life of the animal. And the blood is what's used to atone for our sins. That's why he's sprinkling the blood and touching the horns of the altar. So if we're to kill an animal because we were hunting, we're to cover that blood up with dirt. We're never to leave the blood exposed like that, because blood is the life of the animal. Verse 26, and he that let go the goat for the scapegoat shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water, afterward come into the camp. We said this in plain English prior to. Now we're reading it out of the Holy Scrolls. The fit man that takes this goat, the scapegoat, that has all the sins of the children of Israel upon the head of this goat, that fit man will take that goat, because now that goat is unclean, because he's carrying the sins of the children of Israel. He will take that goat into the wilderness where no one dwells and release him. And once that man releases that goat, he now has to cleanse himself before he comes back into the midst of us, because he has dealt with that which is unclean. Who doesn't understand that? If you don't understand that, you can put me a little note at the bottom of this video. Say, Brother Malachi, Brother Lee, I'm lost. I don't understand anything you just said. And then I will clearly get with you personally and explain it to you. But I'm figuring that this will be suffice. that this will suffice. Verse 27, and the bullock for the sin offering, and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement for the holy place, shall one carry forth without the camp. And they shall burn in the fire their skins, and their flesh, and their dung. And he that burneth them shall wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in water. And afterward he shall come into the camp. So once you've done all of these things, you become unclean. Hope you begin to see the pattern here. And this shall be a statute forever unto you. Let me stop right there. And I'm going to reread that one more time for effect, so you understand that this is forever. We will do this forever. No such thing as some white man named JC died for you, or no brother with some dreadlocks named something else that died for you. Every man dies for his own sin. The Most High has made that plain in his law. There's no such thing as a son of Levi anywhere in this holy scroll, in these holy texts, in the book of remembrance, our book that was left for us, those of us who thought upon the name of the Most High, that wanted to turn back onto him. Nowhere in these records can we ever read, nor have we ever read, nor have we ever heard with our own ears that somebody could die for us. We never heard no nonsense like that. Once again, verse 29, and this shall be a statute forever unto you, you who? The children of Israel, that in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, that's today, ye shall afflict your souls. You shall fast, total dry fast, and do no work at all. I'm not at work today. My vacation for this day has been in for a minute. All right, now, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that sojourneth among you. Let's cover that. You have many brothers out here that can't stand the heathen. I get it. You've been wronged by them. You have brothers who have been lied on by the heathen. Brothers who have been, falsely accused, been laid off because of a lie by the heathen, has had to pay a whole bunch of money to kind of clear their name because the heathen has done XYZ to them. We have suffered all manner of injustices at the hands of the heathen. So some of us actually have a hate for them. I get it. But we're not supposed to hate them. I want you to understand that. We're not supposed to hate them. We're to simply understand that we are people that made a bad choice. We've made a bad bet. The Most High stated plain that we wanted to be like the heathen. We wanted to be like the wicked people. We wanted to be like those who know not Yah. We wanted to be like those who the Most High has put a curse on, a plague on. Plagues. That's why we are to remember what the Most High did to Miriam. Miriam had upset the Most High. The Most High made her white. Remember what happened in the case of Nahum and Ghazi. Made Ghazi white and his seed. Look what he did that had caused that. But yet, we have Israelites out here trying to bleach their skin. We have Israelites out here I've just seen a video. I'm not going to mention this man's name because in my view, he's nothing but a muscle-bound idiot. And we have many of these men who are nothing but criminals, who are enemies unto their own people, that just, I'm leaving it at that. So this man that I'm speaking of, he went ahead and got him some blue eyes. It's amazing that you have many of our people, the children of Israel, many of whom are unaware that they're the children of Israel. They would be quick to say, God don't make any mistakes, right? But they will say that and then turn around and they will blaspheme the Most High with their words and their deeds. Most High did not make any mistakes with the hair of the woman of Israel. Why are you seeking to wear the hair of other people? The Most High did not make any mistakes when he made your eye color. Why would you have surgery to have your eye colors be made blue? This is the type of hypocrisy and ridiculousness that you see out of the children of Israel. The reason why we're in this fix, why we're in this plight is because we sought to be like other people. We did not want to serve righteousness. We did not want the protection of his holiness. So since we decided to turn our backs on righteousness and turn to wickedness, okay, you don't want to serve that which is right. You want to go do that which is wrong. Have at it. And then when you get your teeth kicked in and your children shot and everything else that's unrighteous before you, then maybe you will bethink yourselves and return back onto the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, precepts, that you may have some peace. There is no peace unless you're walking in this law. So when you hear the heathen speak about, well, we're trying to have some peace in Ukraine. We want peace in Gaza. We want peace in Lebanon. We want peace in Syria. First of all, look at who's telling you this. Look at their appearance. That's key. That's why the Most High said, remember Miriam. Remember what I did to Miriam. Remember what he did to Ghazi. Remember what he did to Uzziah when that governor decided he wanted to go up in the Most High's temple and light a censer. You can't do that unless you're a priest. Made him a leper. Made him white. And we can play all manner of semantics and silliness. But if the Most High made these individuals white because they highly upset him, and make Ghazi's seed white for his lies and his covetousness through his greed, which means we saw white people back in the days of old, and you better believe we're looking at some right now. So if you walk around talking about you've never seen a white person and all of that, you can play all these types of games if you like. But I'm not here to play those types of games. That's why this channel doesn't have any type of funding and will never have any type of funding. And there will be no merchandise being peddled here because we're not peddling the Most High's word and his righteousness for profit. And once you have these people giving you money, then you're compromised. And we will have no such thing. I will have no such thing here. Now, once again, and this shall be a statute forever unto you, that in the 7th month, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 7 months. Remember, the beginning of months unto us, as we were instructed, was the month of Abib. That's translated into modern day April. All right. That on the 7th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls. You shall fast and do no manner of work. You should be off every Sabbath day from your job. You can request a formal paperwork that you may have a religious exemption. And once you present that to your HR department, they cannot deny it. The Most High has made it so that the children of Israel who seek to walk in his laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts, and the heathen that seeks to walk after his law, that they may be able to do so. He's made that all possible. And I'm saying all of that way the heathen don't get to the point of thinking that, man, well, certainly we have done wrong, but let me go ahead and continue doing wrong because there's no place for me. I don't want the heathen to think that. Don't let any man that's not of the house of Israel thinks that he is somehow excluded. Now, if you are a Moabite, an Ammonite, or a Canaanite, Most High is going to straight up remove those 3 seed lines from the earth. But we don't know who those people are. I certainly don't. So if you're of those seed lines, the Most High is going to remove that seed. So those three people on the earth will not be allowed to stay here. He's going to remove them. Once again, this makes plain that God loves everybody. Takes that line, put that in the trash can, because those 3 seed lines will not be allowed to dwell upon the earth. He's going to utterly remove them. All right, verse 30. For on that day shall the priest make an atonement for you to cleanse you, that ye may be clean from all your sins before Yah. Verse 31. It shall be a Sabbath of rest unto you. Ye shall afflict your souls by a statute forever. This is forever. So I'm at home today. I'm at rest. It is a Sabbath day. It is a holy day. It is a set apart day. No manner of work. There's nothing being cooked here. For today, on this day, there's nothing being eaten or anything being drunk in this house. No one is drinking anything. No one is eating anything until this Sabbath day is over. Verse 30. And the priest whom ye shall anoint, and whom he shall consecrate to minister in the priest office in his father's stead. Let me stop right there. In his father's stead. Man named Aaron, excuse me, as you know, my allergies will get me this time of year. Man named Aaron. Aaron had sons. His sons had sons. His sons had sons. His sons had sons. Why am I telling you this? Because the priesthood is a perpetual covenant between Aaron and his seed, his sons, his offspring. No one can ever enter that bloodline. No one can ever hold the office of the priesthood unless you are a son of Aaron. If you are a son of Aaron, I don't care if it's 1,000 years down the line or 50,000 years down the line, it's still Aaron holding that priesthood. That is why it states here, the priest office in his father's stead. You are a priest because your father was a priest before you. This is how we do things in the house of Israel. This is how the God of Israel operates. Now, when you start looking at these, the heathen and the dumb Israelite that know no better, that's going to go to some seminary school, and all of a sudden he's telling you he's a reverend, he's a bishop. Let me tell you something about these bishops. You can't find anywhere in this whole holy scroll from Genesis to Malachi where it's a compilation of nothing but the books of the children of Israel and the scrolls of our prophets, the words of our God instructed to us. Ain't no bishop in here. There's no bishop in here. It's a title of the Roman Catholic Church. All right, let's get it all clear once again. So we will have a Sabbath of rest, and we're to reflect our souls, and this is a statute forever. We have that clear. And the priest whom ye shall anoint, and whom ye shall consecrate to minister in the priest's office in his father's stead, shall make the atonement, and shall put on the linen clothes, even the holy garments. Our priest, the sons of Aaron, have a certain attire they've got to wear. Now, we have read some of the things that the priest is wearing, from his mitre to his clothing, breastplate, and all that. No three-piece suit, no tie, no gaiters, no gold watch, none of that. All right, verse 33. And he shall make an atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make an atonement for the tabernacle of the congregation, and for the altar, and he shall make an atonement for the priest, plural. That's all the sons of Levi. And for all the people of the congregation, all 12 tribes of the house of Israel. And this shall be an everlasting statute unto you. Let me stop one more time. Let me stop right there. Let me reread that one more time for effect. It is the last verse of Leviticus chapter 16, covering the Day of Atonement. Now let's run that back one more time. Verse 34, the very last verse of Leviticus chapter 16, addressing the Day of Atonement. And this shall be an everlasting statute unto you, to make an atonement for the children of Israel, for all their sins once per year. And he did as Yah commanded Moses. So once every year, into perpetuity, forever, the sons of Aaron are to make an atonement for himself, for his house, which is all the sons of Levi, all the Levitical house. He's to do it for the holy place. He's to do it for the altar, and he's to do it for all the children of Israel. Now, who does not understand that? That is a question. Who does not understand what is entailed in the Day of Atonement and why it's being done? Now, You had the Muslim leader here that did a Day of Atonement some many years ago. Now here's what I have to ask you. When he did that, what of anything that he did was in accordance to anything you just read? That's the question. Because you've heard of this Day of Atonement before. And when the black Muslim leader did that here, my question to you is, how much of that, if you are familiar with that, how much of that had anything to do with what we just finished reading? That's a question. Now, so we understand clearly what the Day of Atonement is. There should be no doubt of what it is and how it's supposed to be kept. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to read the Feast of Yah. For, it's currently October, and the heathen is going to come up with some foolishness. Now, I could do 2 videos. I could stop right now to start as the second video, but no, I'm going to do this in concurrent. We're going to run this together. And it may be 2 hours, but it is a Sabbath day. You should be at home. You should be at rest. And all the words of the Most High should do nothing but anchor you into his laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. So we're going to go directly into the Feast of Yah. Now it is October, and the heathen is full of folly, full of nonsense. I've just sent to Brother Benai the other day while I was in Home Depot. I sent him photos of all the silly Christmas trees that they had up. And of course, they have the silly mannequins standing up as far as the ghosts and the goblins and all the other nonsense to celebrate their Halloween. They're full of foolishness, full of folly, full of wickedness, falsehoods, and lies. They celebrate, many of them are even not only the heathen, many of our people got a sister at my job tell me, she told me, I can't wait for the holidays. And my personality, you should have a clear idea of how type of person I am by the way I deliver these videos. And I called her by her name. And I said, that the Most High never gave us holidays. He has holy days. And there's a chapter of every last one of them. And there's none called Christmas or Easter on there. Then she gave me that look. You know how it is. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate. All right. Let's go with chapter 23 of Leviticus. We will start with verse 1. We're going to read clearly that the Most High has no such thing called a holiday. He has no such thing called Palm Sunday, no such thing called Good Friday, no such thing called Christmas. Period. Don't exist. Europeans made this up to trick you, and they have done a good job of it. But when our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is returned unto us, and they come before us with this garbage, we will shine the light of the Most High's law before them. And when you do, they're going to scatter like roaches. All right. Leviticus chapter 23. And we'll read verse 1. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yah. Didn't say anything but concerning the holidays of Yah. It said the feast of Yah, which he shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feast. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, and a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yah in all your dwellings, in your city and in your house. Verse 4. These are the feast of Yah, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yah's Passover. So on the 14th day of the first month. What is the first month? The month of Abib, which is in April, which is when everything comes alive. So the beginning of the year is in April, not in January when everything is dead and frozen over. The first of the year, according to our strength, our God, is the month of Abib. April, springtime, when everything comes alive. If you're a man that's breathing with a functioning brain, somehow that makes sense to you that the beginning of the year would be when everything comes alive. That just makes sense to you. All right. Once again, in the 14th day of the first month at even is Yah's Passover. When it gets dark, at even, when that day begins, is a Passover on the 14th. Now, look at this. The heathen, right? They don't have any ideas. So all they do is take stuff from the children of Israel and then try to switch it around. And we've been stupid enough to where we haven't figured it out. They will take this same day of the 14th and tell you this is the day that JC died and raised up and got up in 3 days. We have bought that because our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding was removed. But as we have returned back onto the Most High, His laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts, now we're going to be afforded His protection. That's one. And all of our knowledge, wisdom, understanding is going to be restored onto us. And then we're going to look at these people and realize how stupid they really are. Because what He's going to do, He's going to remove their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and He's going to increase ours. That's how this is going. You can see this now, but it will become more so. Verse 6, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yah. Those two run concurrent, feast of unleavened bread and Passover. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. Now, when you're dealing with Passover, what happened is that all these Egyptians got killed. That way we can go free. And there was a difference made between the Egyptians and the children of Israel. They both look alike. They're two quote unquote black people, but they're of two totally separate bloodlines. So we got released after all the firstborn of the Egyptians were killed. Why did the Most High kill the firstborn of all the Egyptians? He made it plain when He told the Pharaoh, look, Pharaoh, you're holding my son. Who is the son of the Most High? The sons and daughters of the children of Israel. You're holding my son, let my son go, that way he may serve me. The purpose of the sons and daughters of the Most High Yah, who are the children of Israel, our purpose is to serve Him. Pharaoh said, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't letting nobody go. Matter of fact, you Israelites get back to work. All right, bet. So what the Most High did, we can kill the firstborn of everything man and beast in Egypt. That is to remind the sons and daughters of Jacob, the sons and daughters of Israel, that we got let go after the Most High killed the firstborn man and beast of all the Egyptians. Why? Because the firstborn, the son of the Most High, is the house of Israel, not JC. So when anyone asks you who the son of God, you can look them in the face and say, I am. Me and my people are. Because that's exactly who God's son is, the children of Israel. That's why you can read Exodus chapter 12 and you will see clearly what He did for His son and daughters. That's the house of Israel, not JC. They tell you JC died for you during the same exact time, April 14th. Isn't that when they have their Easter? They played you for a fool and you bought it. And the only reason why you bought it and have taken a hold of this falsehood is because, oh man of Israel, oh woman of Israel, your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding was taken away. But now that you have turned back onto the Most High, those of you are at the channel that already have, and many of our people now are seeking after the ways of the Most High. And as they seek Him, they will find Him. And once they find Him, they will turn back onto the way that is right. What is the right way? The way in the days of old. All right. Verse 7. In the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah 7 days. And the seventh day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Servile work simply means you don't go to nobody's job. And you can certainly, at your place of employment, you can put in a formal request to have all of these days off. And they cannot deny you if you're serious about this. Now, let me put this caveat in there for those of you who may want to backtrack, backslide, and deal unrighteously with the Most High. We're in this mess right now because we backslided, we backtracked, and we did unrighteously with the Most High. That's why we're here. If you are to make such a request at your job, to have these days off, to have Feast of Tabernacles off, to have Day of Atonement off, to have blowing of trumpets off, etc. If you were to do that, and to have the 7th-day Sabbath off, and the Sabbath comes, and you decide you're going to go down to some basketball game with your son, or your cousin, or your uncle, or some nonsense like that. Instead of you being at home and being at rest, you're using these days to do something other than to honor the Most High and to do what you're supposed to do. He will deal with you in a manner you may not live to repent for it. He may just flat out kill you for that. So do not play with the Most High as it pertains to this. If you make these requests for these days to do that which is right in the Most High sight, I would encourage you to make sure you do exactly that and to not deviate to the right hand and or to the left, because this can bring curses upon your head and that of those in your house. So if you're going to do this, there is no halfway serving the Most High. You're either going to do it all the way or you're not going to do it all at all. Just so you know, that is a warning to you. All right. Let's go ahead and reread verse 8. I think we're at 9, but we will reread verse 8. B, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah 7 days. In the 7th day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto Yah. Or unto the priest, excuse me. So when we gather our fruits, our feast of ingathering, whatever, you got to take all of that. You got to take a portion of that up to that priest. And that's the best of what you got. Once again, like we have read, the priest is the go-between between us and Yah. This is why we were instructed never to forsake the Levite within our gates. Verse 12. And he shall wave the sheaf before Yah, to be accepted for you. On the morrow, after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. Once again, the priest does everything on our behalf. No JC needed. Verse 12. And ye shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheaf, a he lamb without blemish of the first year, for a burnt offering unto Yah. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto Yah for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of a hin. And ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto Yah. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Most High changes not. If it was a statute forever back then, it is now and forever will be. Verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Verse 16. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto Yah. Ye shall bring out of your habitation 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked or be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Yah. Verse 18. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto Yah. With their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto Yah. Verse 19. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. Verse 20. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruit for a wave offering before Yah. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to Yah for the priest. All right. Most of which we've just read cannot be done unless we're actually in the land. Verse 21. And ye shall proclaim on the self same day that it may be a holy convocation unto you. You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest, this is the feast of ingathering. Once again, we will do this in the land. Okay. And once we reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am Yah, your strength. If you're a farmer, and let's say you're growing grapes, you can harvest your grapes. However, the very corners of your field, you will leave some grapes there. Why? If someone is passing through and they're hungry, they will be able to eat that. If they're poor and they're not able to sustain themselves somewhere or another, they'll be able to eat from that. So when you pick your harvest, you're not to totally clean up and pick up everything in the field. You're to leave some in the corners of your field that the poor and the stranger may be able to eat if they were passing by your field. Now, that's a whole lot of consideration. Now, your average greedy capitalist is not doing that. He's going to rid and take everything out of his field, and then he's going to come to your field and steal some more too. This is what you're dealing with. That's why the spirit of these people is very so much different. Covetousness, greed. All right. Verse 23. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, this is where we are in the 7th month. In the first day of the month shall ye have a Sabbath, a blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. The blowing of trumpets was the first. On the first, I was off of my job. It was a Sabbath day. I was at home at rest on the first for blowing of trumpets. So we have 4 major days. We have one day, the last one, Feast of Tabernacles runs a full week. Okay, but before we actually go into the Feast of Tabernacles, okay, we have holy days that precedes that. Blowing of trumpets is on the 1st, and Day of Atonement, which is today, is on the 10th. So on the 15th begins the Feast of Tabernacles. So on the 15th and the 21st, which is the 22nd, excuse me, the 15th and the 22nd, those are the last 2 days of the Feast of Tabernacles. Those days you're not to work. All right. Once again, let's go ahead and reread what takes place in the 7th month. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation. Verse 25, Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah. We are in the lands of our captivity. We cannot light any fires. And if you do that, you're going to get your head busted. You don't do that. We are in the land of our captivity. Our knowledge has been restored unto us. We understand clearly we are the children of Israel. Therefore, we are to follow the God of Israel. And the instruction that we were given via Solomon's supplication, when we are in the lands of our enemies, and we have been brought to remembrance, and Jerusalem comes into our mind, we are to remember the place where the Most High laid his name. That one place from the many lands of our captivity, we're to get upon our knees, bow our heads in prayer, lift our hands up in supplication to Yah, facing that city, facing where that temple was built. And this is how we pray. We were never instructed to do a sign of the cross or none of that nonsense and say amen or nothing like that. We were not instructed to make no sign of the cross, and we were never instructed to clasp our hands when we pray. The men of Israel, when we prayed, you will find when anyone made their supplication that our hands were lifted up to the heavens in this fashion. This is not hard to figure out. It can be searched out if we read. All right. Verse 26. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, that is where we are today. Today is the 10th day of the 7th month. And some of you may keep the Day of Atonement on another day. I'm not mad at you. The Most High is going to make this all plain. At this juncture, My concern is that you understand that these days are to be commemorated and kept. If we're on that page, we can move forward. Verse 27, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, fast, and offer an offering made by fire unto Yah. We are in the lands of our captivity. There is no priesthood. There is no temple. There is no altar set up right now. There is no holy place. We don't have these things because we're in the lands of our captivity. So how do we do all of these things? We afflict our soul and we offer the calves of our lips, i.e. we pray from the many lands of our captivity facing Jerusalem. Let that be clear. Verse 29, for whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And that can mean a whole lot of things. Most High will be showing you absolutely no favor because you have not returned unto his law, statutes, judgments, and precepts. So you're going to be separated from his people. Who are his people? Those who are walking within the confines of his law. Because ultimately, those are going to be the ones that he's going to reserve, the ones that will obey. And the ones that will not, he will kill. All right. Verse 30. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, that soul will I destroy from among his people. So ultimately, if you're not doing these things, you're not keeping the Sabbath day like you're supposed to, you want to go to work. Man, it's the Sabbath day, but the job is offering triple time. And you decided you want to go and wonder why something crazy is going to happen. Every time after the Sabbath, you can check the worldwide news. Something crazy done went down. Someone got hurt, got shot, got killed. And that would not have happened had they been in their designated places. That would be their dwelling, at home, at rest, observing the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, and precepts. Because once you're walking in his law, you're in his sanctuary. He's not going to allow someone to come hurt you when you're doing exactly what he instructed you to do. Because the person that's coming to hurt you, guess who sent them? I told you the Most High does it all. There's no Satan doing nothing. The Most High is the one that has sent evil after the children of Israel. It's the Most High that's busting our heads. So when you get your head busted, you have got to talk to the Most High, because it's the Most High that busted your head. When you get a blessing, you're to thank the Most High, because it's the Most High that gave you that blessing. Whether you get your head busted or whether you get a blessing, both of these things happen when you can be aware of them, i.e. you are alive. There's no dead man getting punished, and there's no dead man getting blessed. House of Israel, you have got to understand that. The heathen has confused you. You've walked down a dark, slippery slope and has been fed a bunch of lies where you think that somehow you're dying and going to heaven, and somehow you get judgment after you're dead. I will say again to reiterate to you, a dead man knows nothing, a dead man feels nothing, a dead man can do nothing. All of your blessings are given to you while you're alive, so you can see it and appreciate it and enjoy it. All of the curses brought onto you are brought onto you when you're alive. That way you can feel it. You can get drugged into suffering, and you will know in your heart that it's Yah who's doing it. Dead man knows nothing, can feel nothing, can do nothing. Remember that. All right. So we are now where, let me go ahead and figure out where we are. No working that same day. All right, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and go to, I'm gonna start back off at 28. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yah your strength. Who's making the atonement for you? Answer is the priest. Verse 29. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off, meaning you're supposed to fast. If you're that man that didn't fast, you get cut off from among your people. Verse 30. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work, you decide you want to go to work. Man, they're paying triple time. I know it's the day of atonement, but I'm going to go in and get triple time, get this money. and then something real ugly happened to you and you're wondering why. You may go on that day and nothing happens to you. A week later, something crazy happens. 6 months later, something ugly happens. And then you're going to think to yourself, man, could this be that I'm being punished because I'm in direct opposition to the Most High's word when I know better? Verse 31, ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings, everywhere where you live, in your country, in your city, in your home. This is a statute forever. You shall do no manner of work. Once again, this is given directly to the children of Israel and to the stranger that joins himself unto the children of Israel. Let the stranger not say that the Most High has totally cut me off from his people. So don't think that. And that's whether you white or whatever you may be. Don't think that. If you turn to the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, and precepts and do that which is right in his sight, then the Most High will show you mercy. Verse 32, it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. I'm at home, I'm at rest, and it's Thursday. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. You shall afflict your souls. I'm fasting right now. In the 9th day of the month at even. From even to even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. All right. Now, in this verse right here, it tells you when the day begins. From even to even. Other words for that is from dark to dark. A day, a whole day, comprised of two things, dark and light. The dark part we call the night, the light part we call the day. But they both constitute together a 24-hour day. The day begins with dark. But there was darkness upon the deep before the Most High started doing what he was doing. So the dark is always first. So the day begins tonight when the last bit of light comes out of this sky and it begins to be dark. Then the Day of Atonement is complete and the new day begins. The 11th begins. And so I will reread verse 32. That way you understand that the Sabbath day and any other day begins even to even. And if you disagree, go ahead and disagree. That just means your understanding and my understanding are entirely different. And I'm not arguing with another man's understanding. Verse 32, it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls, you shall fast. In the 9th day of the month at even. All right, the 9th day of the month at even. Now, this started yesterday at even. Yesterday was Wednesday. You understand? So Wednesday at even, that's when Thursday began, when it got dark. All right. So it says here clearly, in the 9th day of the month at even. On the 9th day at even is when the 10th day begins. Tell me you're grasping this. I'm going to reread it one more time and then we will move on. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. You're to be at home. You're to be within your dwelling places. You shall afflict your souls. You shall fast. In the 9th day of the month at even, that's when it gets dark. From even when it's dark to even when it gets dark shall ye celebrate your Sabbath and any other day that you call a day. All right. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto Yah. So the Feast of Tabernacles is a week long. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah. On the 8th day, which is the 22nd, shall be a holy convocation unto you. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. Verse 37. These are the feasts of Yah, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yah, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice, a drink offerings, everything upon his day. Before I go to 30, let me hold this spot. I want you to understand that our God is real precise. He's not off the cuff. He's not full of any aha. Oh man, hey, you didn't know this, did you? No. He gave us the end in the beginning. I told you, our God can be found up front. Up front, Genesis to Malachi. Our God does not take a backseat to anyone, or to anyone's gods, lowercase, their idols. If you take the book of remembrance and you split that, separate that from what they call a New Testament, which can be no such thing, and you look at that, the girth of those two books, there is no comparison. Neither is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's within the two of them. One book belongs to us, one book the heathen wrote, stealing and borrowing words from us. And the reason why you're confused, because the lies that they have told has bits and truth in it. However, you will not be able to decipher what's true and what's a lie, and what's a combination of both, until you have turned back with your whole heart and your whole soul onto the Most High's law. Then you are equipped with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You've got that lamp, that law before you. You can shine the light on the heathen and see all the lies. Now, with that light before you, you are no longer walking in the walls. Your feet will not be caught in the snares of the heathen. Why? Because you can clearly see where you're going. And that law, that lamp is blinding. So when you have that law before you, you've got that light shining before you. Anyone that's going to come with you, come towards you with unrighteousness, it's going to blind them like floodlights. It's going to send them the other way. But those who are coming to you with righteousness in their hearts, going to be able to come into that light and will have no problem. But anyone that's going to come up to you with any type of wickedness, maliciousness, etc., that light's going to chase them away. That light is the Most High. That's his law. That's his protection. That's what's going to protect you. That's going to form that hedge around you. Hope that makes sense. All right. Verse 39 once again. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto Yah 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. That will be the 15th of this month, and that will be the 22nd of this month. Those are both Sabbath days. You're not to work. You're to be at home. You're to be at rest. You should not be cooking on those days. You should be observing all the rules and regulations that goes along with that Sabbath day, that 7th day Sabbath. All right, now, verse 40. And ye shall take you of the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before Yah your strength 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto Yah 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Verse 42. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All those that are Israelite born shall dwell in booths. I want you to understand, these folks calling themselves Israeli are a mixture of all types of mingled people. First of all, they're nothing but a bunch of white people. Let's deal with that. That's who these Israelis are. This is nothing but a neo-colonial outpost. The same atrocities that these white people are pulling in the land of Israel is the same atrocities that they've pulled in Africa, Central, South, and Latin America, down in the Caribbean, and out in the Pacific Islands. This man who know not Yah, who is ungodly in all of his ways, comes to other people's lands and kill them and murder them and lie to them in the name of God. Let me run that back to you one more time. That way you know exactly what type of people you're dealing with. The Most High has sent these people throughout the earth for a reason. And their appearance is important. Understand that the very people that's telling you about God are the people that don't know God. We have had our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding restored unto us. We can now see clearly that these people who have brought God to all the different peoples of the earth have used the same playbook by which to murder, slaughter, lie, steal, and enslave. All of their ways are ungodly. They used God by which to conquer and murder the children of Israel and do the same in Africa. They used God by which to conquer and murder all the people of Central, South, and Latin America, the Taino Indians. They used God by which to subjugate the Asians. They used God by which to try to murder the people in the land of Palestine. So they've always used God by which to kill. They've used God by which to justify murder. They've used God by which to justify their hypocrisy. Used God to justify their lies and their crimes and their violence. And when you look at their ways and their doings, and you come into the book of the law and the prophets and the men of God and the people of God, you will realize clearly this man that has gone through the earth, bringing God to all the people, has brought nothing but destruction to all of these people. And God don't know this man. And this man don't know God. And all his ways has been unrighteous. And he has been a hammer throughout the earth, breaking and destroying. And all the families of the earth are going to recognize this man. And he's got coming what he's got coming. All right. So you understand that. We are where it makes plain that those who are Israelite born, these Israelis are not born Israelites. These are Israelis. They are born Polish. They are born German. They are born British. They are born in Argentina and wherever else. These are nothing but a bunch of mingled people, unrighteous in all of their ways, going in this land, being an opportunist in a place that does not belong to them. Israelite born, meaning you cannot be an Israelite unless you are born so. This is a genetic birthright. You don't graft into this. A black man can't graft into a Chinese man genetics. You got a Chinese man genetics. You've got Chinese man genetics. Period. This is the foolishness that we have bought. That, oh, you're grafted in. How are you going to graft into another man's genetics? The house of Israel is a family, genetically connected. You can't graft into this family. I don't care what you do. So those who are Israelites born, Israelis are not Israelites. And you should never, ever be confused between the two. The Most High don't have no covenants with no Israelis. Don't know Israelis. He knows Israelites, sons and daughters of Israelites of those 12 tribes. If you go into Israel right now and just pull you one of these Israelis, hey man, what tribe you from? He couldn't tell you. In fact, he'll make up one because they're liars. Now, verse 43. That your generations, that's one family, same family, next generation, same family, next generation. That's why we have the book of Chronicles and the book of Numbers. When a man dies, you heard of his son. His son died, you heard of his son. Then he died, then you heard of his son. And the generation continues. That Y chromosome continues down the line. That is why the Most High can punish us from generation to generation until we get it right. Because he's punishing the same family. Verse 43. That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. Didn't say he made the Christians to dwell in booths. He made the Muslims to dwell in booths. He made the Rastafarians to dwell in booths. Didn't say he made the Jehovah's Witness to dwell in booths. Didn't say he made those who were into Scientology to dwell in booths. None of these made up idol worshiping sects. Not talking about none of them. We're speaking specifically about the children of one man. Once again, that your generation may know that I made the children of Israel, not the children of the Israelis, to dwell in booths. When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am Yah, your strength. Who brought us out of Egypt? The Most High Yah. Who brought us into captivity? The Most High Yah. Who's going to get us out of captivity into all these lands where we have been scattered? The Most High Yah. You calling on JC is a waste of all of your time. Verse 44. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of Yah. All right. So that concludes Leviticus chapter 23, where the Most High lists all of his holy days and his feast days. Now the question is, did you see Easter in there? No. Did you see Lent in there? No. Did you see Halloween in there? Nope. Labor Day? Nope. Memorial Day? Nope. Did you see Christmas in there? No. Did you see Palm Sunday in there? No. Did you see Good Friday in there? No. Did you see anything in there where the Most High said he had a holiday, Holi day? Did you see that in there? No. What you read were holy days. That's what you read. So you can believe what you want to believe and you can do what you want to do. My job here is simple. I'm to show you where to look. You, with your own eyes, will determine what you see. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. And peace to the stranger that will take a hold of the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts, and do them. Let not the stranger say that the Most High has totally separated him from his people. I don't care what these Israelites out here are telling you. If you are a stranger that is of a contrite spirit, there is a place for you. I can also take you in here and show you that. Once again, peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Don't forget, on the 15th is the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles. When does the 15th begin? The answer is the evening of the 14th. The 22nd, is the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles. When does the 22nd begin? At dark on the 21st. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Hope you're enjoying the Day of Atonement. I know it's kind of tough. I've been able to so far speak to you for an hour and 48 minutes, reading the words of the Most High Yah by way of his prophets. And my voice is maintained. My voice comes and goes, and some words it's hard for me to pronounce. So certain words when I'm going through this time of year where my tongue is not the same size and I've got all type of stuff going on in my head, but these are allergies. It happens every year. If you've been at this channel, you are well aware of that. Anyway, I do trust that the Most High has blessed you and he's keeping his angel before you as you continue to walk in the law, statutes, judgments, and precepts. Times are critical. Things are going to get rough. Continue to walk on the path and do not be swayed by those who may be trying to encourage you to do something that can get you and your family hurt. Do remember, when you decide to walk outside of these laws, the consequences are upon you and upon your house. So what you do affects your seed, affects your house, and we're to be mindful of that. And that goes for everyone. Once again, peace and Yah bless. And it's great to have made it another year here at the Day of Atonement. These holy days of this month is very important because, as we can see clearly, the Most High is making plain all that he has instructed our prophets. You've just received the video where you understand clearly now who the Medes are and who the Most High is raising up against our enemies. So it's important for us to know exactly which way to go. And as the situation gets worse, The more we cleave onto the Most High, the more our protection will be. That way, when people start falling to the right hand and the left hand, it's not going to affect us. We're going to be brought through this fire because we have been those who the Most High has reserved. Hence, we have been coming through the fire. We're being refined. We're being tested. Will you continue to hold steadfast to righteousness, or will you turn in your righteousness for wickedness, thinking you will prosper, only to be destroyed? Do not be the fool to do that. Understand, when you have wickedness and righteousness, you are to understand that righteousness is the way to go, not sometimes, every time. And do not allow wicked individuals to entice you to come off the path. For if you do, and many of you may have done this thing, started off foul as all get out, found out what righteousness was, took a hold of it, and then backslid and turned back to wickedness, and the Most High bust you upside your head for it, and he will every time. So do not be enticed to go down that slippery slope. We have been going down this slippery slope for generations. It has not profited us. We are to turn to that which is right, and you can't lose. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Once again, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy laws the truth. And peace to the stranger that will take a hold of the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, and precepts, and do them, and will take a hold of the skirt of the man of Israel. Peace.